Welcome to episode 3 of a 24-part journey, one designed to change not just how you think, but how you live. When the unconscious mind is aligned with your intentions, when the body is free of the chronic tension that drains your energy, and when you have developed the ability to consciously direct your own thoughts rather than being pulled along by them, creative thinking comes more naturally. Focused action becomes less of a struggle. And the process of building toward your goals carries with it something that grinding effort never produces: a genuine sense of engagement and satisfaction in the work itself. That is what this series is building toward: the experience of becoming someone for whom achieving it feels like a natural expression of who they are. In episode 1, we laid the foundation that your life unfolds from the inside out, that your inner world is the cause, and your outer world is the effect. In episode 2, we went deeper, beneath the surface, to meet the unconscious mind. The vast, quiet part of you that accepts without argument whatever you repeatedly tell it, and silently builds your reality. We learned that whatever you let through takes root and grows. But today we are talking about feeling it in your body, as motivation and energy. When you feel strong, at your peak and capable, like you can take on anything, people can actually feel it when you walk into a room. When it runs weak, you feel drained, foggy, and flat, no matter how much you slept the night before. You have the ability to tap into your vitality on a more consistent basis. Today, I'm going to explain how. Deep in your body, just behind your stomach, there's a dense network of nerves, one of the largest nerve centers outside of the brain itself. It is called the solar plexus, and the name is fitting. Just like the sun, its fibers radiate outward in all directions, carrying signals to virtually every major organ in your body. It's part of the system that runs your heartbeat, your digestion, your breathing, all the things your body does without ever asking you. And here's something worth knowing. This same center is deeply wired to your emotional life. When you feel dread before a difficult conversation, or anxiety before a big decision, that tightening sensation you feel in your gut, that's the solar plexus responding to what's happening in your mind. This region is increasingly referred to as the second brain, and for good reason. It produces a remarkable amount of the body's own serotonin and processes emotional signals with a degree of independence that researchers are only beginning to fully understand. When this center is functioning without obstruction, your body operates with full vitality, your mind stays clear, and there is a quality of presence about you that other people register: a warmth, an ease, a sense of someone fully inhabiting themselves. We call people like that magnetic. What they have isn't a personality trait. It's an unobstructed nervous system. Now, this center is governed by the same unconscious mind we explored in episode 2, the part of you that orchestrates your body's functions without ever surfacing to conscious awareness. But here's the insight that changes everything. Your conscious thoughts are the master switch. The quality of thought you choose to sustain, moment to moment, hour to hour, directly determines how freely that energy moves through you. Calm, expansive, confident thoughts open the channel and allow the current to flow without resistance. Contracted, fearful, self-defeating thoughts do the opposite. They constrict that channel at its source, and the energy simply cannot move. What's remarkable is how much of what we accept as ordinary, the chronic fatigue that sleep doesn't fix, the mental fog that descends without warning, the persistent sense of flatness and disconnection, can be traced back to exactly this kind of internal constriction. It isn't always a physical failure. More often than we realize, it is the body's own energy being suppressed at its source. So what is it that constricts the channel? Of all the forces that diminish this energy center, one stands above the rest. And it isn't laziness, and it isn't circumstance. It is fear. Fear acts on the nervous system the way interference acts on a signal. It doesn't destroy the source, but it disrupts the transmission completely. Every anxious thought, Every rehearsed worst-case scenario, every quiet undercurrent of what if this goes wrong registers as a threat in the autonomic nervous system, and the body responds by contracting, bracing, pulling inward. Fear of past failures that haven't released their grip, fear of futures that exist only in imagination, fear of how we appear in the eyes of others. Each one tightens the system slightly, and when enough of them accumulate over time, what once felt like vibrant, accessible energy begins to feel like a permanent state of depletion. The source hasn't diminished. The transmission has been disrupted almost entirely, and here is what makes this worth understanding. Address the fear directly, genuinely, not just intellectually, and the energy doesn't gradually return. It surges back, because it was never depleted. It was only ever blocked. Let me make this concrete. Consider two versions of the same person moving through identical circumstances. The first carries a low, chronic undercurrent of apprehension, bracing against outcomes before they've arrived, revisiting old failures, holding themselves slightly back from full engagement with their own life. They are exhausted in a way that rest doesn't resolve, because the depletion isn't physical, it's the continuous energetic cost of maintaining a state of internal resistance. And people around them register something, even if they can't articulate it, a subtle guardedness, a quality of contraction, and they respond to it instinctively, keeping a certain distance. Now observe that same person on a day when the fear, for whatever reason, simply lifts. When they move through their hours with the quiet conviction that there is nothing, in this moment, to brace against. The shift is immediate and physical. Posture opens, the face warms. A quality of presence returns that draws people in rather than holding them at arm's length. Nothing in the external environment changed. What changed was the state of the nervous system, and the body translated it, instantly and unmistakably, into something the world around them could feel. And this is the understanding I want to leave with you most deeply. You are the one holding the power switch, not your circumstances, not the people around you, not the accumulated weight of your history. You. Fear loses its grip not through force or suppression, but through the recognition of what you are actually connected to. This energy center is not drawing from a finite reserve that can be depleted and exhausted. It draws from the autonomic nervous system itself, a system designed by nature to sustain life indefinitely. There is genuinely more capacity available to you than there is cause for fear, and once that becomes not just an idea but a felt conviction, the constriction begins to ease on its own. And from that cleared state, something becomes possible that wasn't before. You can direct the energy with intention, not through straining or effortful concentration, but through the sustained clarity of a calm, specific mental image of what you want your life to become. You don't need to engineer the path. You only need to hold the destination clearly enough and steadily enough for the system to begin orienting toward it. So here is your practice for this week, and it builds in a precise sequence on everything that came before it. Now we move to the deliberate release of physical and emotional tension. Find a quiet place to settle in, and then, with conscious intention, begin to release, systematically and completely. Move your attention slowly from the crown of your head downward. Soften the muscles around your eyes. Release the tension held in your jaw. Let your shoulders descend from wherever they've been braced. Open your hands. Continue all the way to your feet. Not by forcing relaxation, that is a contradiction, but by withdrawing the unconscious instruction to hold. What you are doing physiologically is signaling to the autonomic nervous system that there is no threat to defend against. And when that signal is received, something measurable happens. The constriction around the solar plexus begins to ease, and the energy that has been compressed there begins to move. Do this for a few focused minutes each day. The effects, for most people, are more immediate than they expect. Carry this with you. There is an energy source within you that has never once failed, not because of discipline or effort, but because it is the nature of the system itself to generate, and radiate. What diminishes it is not weakness, and not circumstance. It is the accumulated tension of unexamined fear, held in the body below the level of conscious awareness. Release that tension, and the energy returns, not gradually, but as a restoration of something that was always operating beneath the surface. This week, each time you notice your body contracting around an anticipated threat, a tight chest before a difficult conversation, braced shoulders before a demanding day, pause. Take one slow, deliberate breath and make the conscious decision to release the grip. That single practice, sustained with consistency, will do more to shift your energy, your presence, and the quality of your daily experience than almost any other single thing you could undertake. And before you go, if this is resonating with you, please like this video. It helps more people find this series. Drop a comment and tell me where you hold your tension the most. Your shoulders, your jaw, your chest. I read everyone. Then subscribe and stay with the series, because in episode 4 we tackle something that will fundamentally change how you see yourself. Most people assume they are their thoughts, that the anxiety, the self-doubt, the old story running on a loop is just who they are. But it isn't. There is a part of you that sits behind all of that, behind every thought, every mood, every reaction, that has the power to observe them, redirect them, and choose differently. In episode 4, we explore that part, and once you find it, you'll have the means to direct your own mind with a clarity and intention most people never discover. I'll see you there.